Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Fundamental Academy. Today we'll discuss another concept in finance. Last time we talked about the payback period. Today we'll add just the discounted bit to it. What's discounted about it? Basically, we will discount the cash flows coming from that project that we are considering, whether we should take on this project or reject. But first of all, let's look at the different aspects of the payback period definition to see how it is still in line with the discounted payback period concept. Both of them are still measure of liquidity. Liquidity of what? Of the projects that we're taking or we're considering. This is still valid for the discounted payback period. The same rule applies. A project with a discounted payback period that takes longer than a preset number of years is rejected. So if the discounted payback period is 3 years, it's longer than the 2 years that I want my project to get me all the investments I've paid within the time frame. If it's longer, I reject this project. It's still valid. How about the shortcomings? Still, the discounted payback period is just a measure of liquidity and not a measure of value. It does not tell you how much value it's adding to your company. No, it doesn't tell you that. So what did it fix? It actually fixed the problem with the time value of money. This is the problem we had with the payback period. It doesn't take into account when the cash flow comes in. Does it come in the first year or the second year? It just tells you how long it takes to get back this initial investment. So this is valid. Now this is fixed, so it's not valid anymore. But still the third shortcoming is still valid for the discounted payback period because it does not take into account any cash flows that take place after the payback period. Let's look at the concept just to remind ourselves of the payback period. This is the example that we had before. This is the project. All you did is just calculated the number of years it takes you to recover or to recoup that $1,000 of investments. It takes you 2 years and a portion of the cash flows from the third year. It came out to be 2 and a third of a year, so 2 years and 4 months. For the discounted payback period, all we add here is basically we add the discounted part, which is the discount rate. The discount rate here is the weighted average cost of capital. This is my weighted average cost of capital. So I invest $1,000. I expect to get $500 the first year. If I discount this back to today, it's $455. How did I calculate this? Just divide the 500 by 1.1. The $400, if you divide it by 1.1 to the power of 2, because it's year 2, it gets you 331. Same thing, divide this by 1.1. This is discounting, simple discounting. You can come up to this. You discount by the 1 plus 10% discount rate to the power of 4 for 4 years, you get that. So now you want to calculate your discounted payback period is actually the period that when the cumulative cash flow actually goes down all the way to 0, which is somewhere in here. So we know that the discounted payback period is between year 2 and year 3. But how much exactly is it between 2 years or 3 years? Let's look at this. So the first year, or year 0, we have a negative 1,000. Year 1, the 1,000 negative number comes down only to 545. Why? Because we've added the positive impact from cash flow coming in year 1, 455, which is the discounted value of the $500. So the negative is actually lower to this amount. Then year 2, you add up the discounted value of year 2, the $400, you discount it back to 331, you add it back to the negative 545, and you come up with a negative number here, 215. Here you make the shift. So you want to know exactly how long this takes. Assuming again that the $225, which is the discounted value of the $300 in year 3, assuming that is coming in pro rata, you try to find out exactly how long it takes from year 2 to year 3 to recuperate all the $1,000. So what do you need? How much do you need out of the next year or the third year cash flow of 225? You only need 215. So you need 215 out of 225. So basically this comes out to 2.95. So your discounted payback period is 2.95. If we look at the Excel example, here's the example. Are we saying here that this discount rate, if we increase the discount rate to, let's say, 12, what happens? All your discounted cash flows goes down even further. Look at the cumulative cash flow here. As we mentioned, you need to just calculate the years, or the year, how long it takes for the cumulative cash flow to be 0. So it's somewhere in between here, between the year 3 and year 4. How far is it? Is it from year 3 to year 4? Here you know that's actually 3 years now. Okay, and here, how long do you need? How much do you need from year 4 cash flows, the 64 discounted, which is the $100 discounted? How much do you need? You only need 21. So you need 21 out of 64. So actually, if your discount rate increases from 10% to 12%, your discounted payback period goes up from 2.95 to 3.33, 3 years and 1/3. So the higher the discount rate, the longer it takes you to recuperate or to recoup your investments that you've paid. Okay, let's say if the discount rate goes back down to 8%. Now the discounted payback period is year 2, between year 2 and year 3. How long does it take? So it's year 2. How long does it take? You only need 194 out of the 238, the discounted cash flow from year 3. So I only need 2.82. It's still lower than 2.95. So the rule of thumb we have is the higher the discount rate, the longer the discounted payback period, and the lower the discount rate, the shorter the discounted payback period. Thank you very much for listening, and talk again in the next episode of our Fundamental Academy very soon. Thank you.